a billfold. So swole that I can't get the shit closed. So I money fold and rubber band wrap. And when it pops.
Testing, testing. Testing. Oh, look at that. 70QQ. You must have hit the button, Rip.
Well, all of a sudden you say, put this
Tell me
on.
hit the button.
Well, here's
Ask
it.
them if they can hear you now.
Hey, can you some bitches hear me now? Now, okay, Screaming Baboon said, well, if Screaming Baboon says yes, he's ready. Okay, now, see what happens when you get an updated, instead of the microphone like I always use, all of a sudden I got a headpiece. Headpiece keeps me my hair, both of them, looking better. Oh, shit! Now I need everything.
Just keep talking.
I'm talking, but
what?
no, but it's reverberating in my ears.
You'll be all right.
Oh, I'll be all right. Yeah, well, why don't you fix that son of a bitch?
How about now? Is it?
Let me see. Hey, all right, now it works. Hey, the show's almost over, ladies and gentlemen, but we got it under control now. So let's see. Screaming Baboon's here. He's putting the LOL. Keep it like this. SB says, Screaming Baboon. Todd Montgomery says, fuck yes. And then Patrick Young says, hey, we can hear you, Papa Rip. Let's see, what's Shane Parks here? Glad to be here. Had major flooding here Sunday. Everyone is okay. Roseburg and all the towns of Douglas County got hit hard, but we're okay. Well, don't get any better than that.
Hey, Rip, can you hear me?
Oh shit! Linus is talking through my thing. I'm almost had a headache. My ears explode. Now he's laughing this and that. Hey, everybody! Hey, do you see the pictures of Rip? It's autographed, and I got the autographed worm and everything like that. But anyway, I have a guest today, but I guess he ain't coming on, so I'm waiting for Blake Troop to come on. So we sent him a link, but I guess when it's 12 noon that it's 12 noon. So maybe he'll try and come on later when off the air. So I'm not the producer, I'm not the director. I should just be lending moral support. So now I got nothing to talk about. And then
Well, just slow down a second. Gregory Mall in the house, Patrick Young in green in the house, Tommy in the house, Big George in green in the house, Screaming Baboon is over. Says, hey, thanks for the. Oh, never mind. I'm supposed to heal on you. Never mind. He's in green. Patrick Young, 70QQ, got all the top stars. Hey, Rip, Cold Blooded X is back and better than ever. Lurch Davis might be new in green. I don't know. Do you know Lurch Davis, Rip?
Lurch Davis. That sounds like the only Lurch I knew. He was on Addams Family, 60s, with Morticia, whatever it was. Lurch was on there. The guy going.
So you think that's the one you know?
I don't think that's. Lurch was about 7 foot tall.
Okay. Pot Ripper Jr. back in the house. How about that? Shane Parks in the house from Roseburg.
Yeah.
Get that microphone with your
well, I'm
hand,
trying
dude.
to read, but I'm trying to read.
Now, is that are the chats moving as I move or no?
I don't know.
Like right now, are the questions moving?
Well, I don't see questions at all. I just see people.
Well, yeah, they have comments, whatever you want to call them.
Okay, well that's
comments. Are they going like up?
I mean, it's like well, they wouldn't be going down; they'd be going up, right?
Well, I'm moving them up and down.
Oh well, hell, I don't know. I didn't major in technology.
Oh my god!
Screaming Baboon says, "Did you get a haircut?" No, I just ain't got any hair. But 70QQ says comments are moving. Hey, there he is, some bitch. God damn. What a told. Okay. You know what the fucking time it is? It's coming in like a big shot. Now you're all frozen up on here. I can't see shit.
How about now? Am I back?
You're there, but you're like you're frozen. Okay, you're great. You're frozen. Anyway, shame. Oh, now you're moving like a this and that. It's not smooth, but it's like. So I'm Mr. Goddamn Technology. What do you do? Oh, you're fucking talking when you're goddamn driving. You don't even fucking pull over. What the fuck? Where are you at anyway?
I'm in Los Angeles. I just got off an airplane. I came out here. I'm commentating fights on television tomorrow evening. I'm headed down to Wayans right now.
Okay, this is for the Fight Network?
Yeah, for Lights Out Extreme Fighting, Sean Merriman from the Chargers, who's also done some stuff in pro wrestling with TNA, owns Lights Out Extreme Fighting, which I'm the current heavyweight champion and the commentator for.
Well, fuck it. If you can't get over, then that's on fucking you, ain't it?
I feel like I'm getting there.
Huh?
I feel like I'm getting there. Still got a little heat to knock off, the residual heat to knock off from my early career, but I think I'm moving towards it.
Well, you know, it's hard. You never were an angel, you know. You was definitely alpha, definitely a little bit of Eddie Haskell in you, which dates me. But what the fuck, right? You got it.
Yeah, I'm definitely not an angel, but Rip, I've always said be good or be good at it, and I choose the latter.
Have you ruined your life with a woman of your dreams yet? Okay, I can't hear you now.
Ever seen that are girlfriends?
Now you're frozen, so I can't.
I said I have about five. How about now?
Well,
am I back?
Well, now you're
about five bombs. I call my bombshells.
Well, I guess you're over. Do you keep them all happy?
Oh, I keep a big smile on their faces.
Okay, you got
One
the
of the
super
newest girls
hammer.
on the team is on super what?
You got the super hammer then.
Yeah,
The
I
super
lay it
worm.
down.
The big worm. You got
You can say
width. You
that.
got.
It's like a bazooka, Bulletproof Troops bazooka.
Oh, I like that. Hmm. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
starting to get shit. I'm getting my fanny packs going up and down now a little bit. I'm 71, and I've still never had any kind of relationship with a male. So that, in today's world, I guess that's pretty good. So maybe I
Yeah.
should put my hair my hair purple, green, or whatever. But this is cooler than fuck. You got a big goddamn fight tonight, and
We'll
being the
fight you tomorrow.
superstar.
I'm just on commentary. I'll be in a suit.
Okay, let's see.
Interestingly
Shane
enough,
Park.
our last card, December 7th, I fought in the main event for the heavyweight belt. But before fighting, I commentated 6 fights. Then I went in the back, I warmed up, and I came out and fought in the main event. Something that has never been done before in combat sports.
Now
So
wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Now is pro wrestling combat sports or not? Just lie to me. No, just lie to me and say yeah.
Yeah, I would consider combat sports.
Okay, so I'd be running towns, right? And
You'd be running towns.
Yeah, I'd be running a town. I'd work the first match, and then I would come back, and I got paid for announcing, getting the jackets, all kinds of shit. Right? I was wearing every hat there was. So
So see, I
such
think it's
is
a little
life.
different though to compete and then announce or commentate. I think it's different than commentating or announcing and then competing, because if you compete first, now the big shit's out of the way, and your head can focus on the commentary or the announcing. But fighting
Well,
last after doing commentary, I feel like it is a little bit different doing them in the competitive order coming second.
I was booking the finishers, so it didn't. So what the hell, right? Hey, Pot Tripper, $2. Blake, okay, here's a question. Can you see that, Blake? No, you're driving. Blake, does your head still hurt from Roundtree?
My head always hurts, but not from Roundtree. Roundtree is an incredible athlete. I took that fight on 8 days' notice coming off of an injury with no training. And
Well, that's
Khalil Roundtree, who fought recently for the UFC light heavyweight belt, knocked me out in about 90 seconds. Khalil and I actually became good friends after that fight and trained together significantly at Black House MMA. And like I said, have become good friends. Khalil actually brought up how good of a training partner I was with him on a Joe Rogan podcast. Khalil's a phenomenal athlete. And that's one of the losses that I'll take on the chin, and I'm kind of proud of.
okay. I love that. So, hey, why don't you be the guy that has so many fights, so many matches? He's forcing himself to be over.
Who is?
Well, that can be you. You know, you're just walking around the car and you're freezing up on my screen, and then your mouth will talk and come out, and then all of a sudden quit. Then there's a delay, and all of a sudden the sound comes out. So what the hell? You can't do anything. You can't. Right?
I'm like
What?
you. I'm not a technology guy. I didn't get my
Okay.
first smartphone until like 2015.
What?
And
Oh,
I'm not even sure I could consider it a smartphone, because between me and my phone, it's the only smart thing.
well, at least 1 out of 2. So what the hell, right?
That's what I'm saying. 50-50. That's not bad.
Let's see. It says, okay, Screaming Baboon says, I'm confused. Let's see, we got the $2 from Pot Tripper Jr., so I'm waiting to scroll up so somebody can me some questions. We can call this big ass money, and they'll put me in a high tax bracket after I go to the food bank each week so I can eat. At least I'm not homeless this week, so what the hell, right? Okay,
You still eat
Patrick
solid
Yum.
food, Rip? How many
Huh?
teeth you got left in there? I said, do you still eat solid food, or how many teeth you got left in there?
Now, Mankind bought these, and Mankind bought these, but I forced to act like I had. So, but Mick Foley bought all my teeth for me, and this other dentists pulled all my teeth for free, so that's been years ago.
Rip, I'd
So
have
it
knocked all
doesn't get
those
any
bad
better.
boys out for free too.
Do what now?
I said I could have knocked all those bad boys out for free.
Hey, there'll be no violence, I guarantee it. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a phony wrestling match, so please feel free to visit the concession, and don't worry, everything priced with the dollar, so there's no change. So that's perfect, and let's have a record concession during my match. Oh, Screaming Maboon says, that's cool. Mick bought your teeth. You told us that. Well, I pulled them out all the time. So now you just listen to Wrestling with Rip Rogers and you learned a lot of shit, I guess. So anyway.
So, Rip, I'll give you a little update on the training that I've been doing. I moved myself out to Houston, Texas to train with Booker T's guys at Reality of Wrestling. Moved out there
Okay.
December 30th. I've been out there now for 3.5 months. Incredible training out there. It's the second time I have moved myself to a brand new city that I've never really been to before, just to pursue professional wrestling with some of the best coaches. Originally, I moved to Tampa, Florida to train with Chris Sylvia, who's my original coach. And I feel like really helped me build the foundation that I have now to now jump around a little bit. I'm currently at Booker T's. I'll find myself out at the foundation with Ace Steel in the near future. And then next stop on my training tour after that is Dr. Tom.
Well, don't get no better than Dr. Tom.
Everybody's told me that.
I'll tell you, he breaks. Now, first of all, there ain't nobody that's put as many guys in WWE as me. I put 70 that walked through the beginner's class. I'm a fucking nut. But I will teach you how to work an hour Broadway, how to work a 2-hour Broadway if need be. So and you're taught to kill it in the goddamn ring. There ain't no shit of getting of pre-planning your bullshit. They'll say, get in here and work with him. You're the baby face. You're the heel. Go an hour. Now go. And it's just stuff you do. It's just stuff you do in goddamn class. And it's a rib because most of the stars ain't worth the fuck. And I tell them that. Excuse me. But it's like when I get Serena Diva Job and JTG and Johnny Jeter and Mike Mondo, etc., with stuff like that. It's just so much fun going to fucking class. When you're in there all together and you're pushing each other, you don't realize how good you're getting until you get out of there. You go to some fucking indie show, and but all the guys I train, they see it when we leave, and they said, "God damn, I was like one eye's king in the Valley of the Blind." Because it takes. I used to tell everybody, you have matches, and especially if you're wrestling with guys older than you, where you can look up and listen, and you learn to fucking story tell. But the hardest thing in fucking wrestling is to slow the fuck down. No matter what, you're a mark. I'm a mark, because when you start, you want to get your shit. You want to see all your moves on tape or whatever. That's human. I got in the wrestling business and I was never even trained. So you can imagine. And then years later, here I was teaching everybody. That's a hell of a rib. And my Dr. Tom, and Dr. Tom, what you've done is you have overachieved. Yeah, yes, I have. But in that, I use every ploy, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. If you're a fat, lazy bastard, I'll call you a fat, lazy bastard. You know what I mean? As I said, if you're sandbagging on somebody, trying to be difficult or whatever, you ain't going to goddamn last. And I would have guys, I said, I don't want your money. You're a cancer. Please leave. Go somewhere else. I'm not interested in your mouth. I'm interested in making you good. So, but anyway, I start this fucking going off with this and that.
I agree 100% with you. I think more of that needs to happen in professional wrestling, where people that just aren't cut out for it aren't trained and brought in the same. I understand things being a business and having to make money and ends meet for a school, because not everybody there is trying to go to WWE. Some people are just going on a little adventure, playing wrestler. But I definitely think it would be good to see more stricter regulatory stuff on by coaches on who they're actually going to bring into the ring and train and let come in there and be
Mm-hmm.
productive members of their gym or their team or however you want to word that.
Well,
I'm a
you
big
throw
fan of
over.
inclusion. I don't think anybody should be excluded for what they look like, the color of their skin, who they pray to, who they want to have sex with. But if they're not able to get in there and fucking work safely with people, like one thing that really bothers me is I don't feel like enough people take the gym and physical fitness seriously in today's independent wrestling world. Not saying everybody, but I think that there is enough people that I don't think can safely do the required tasks at hand within a professional wrestling ring. And that's not, I don't think people should be excluded for, like I said, color of their skin, the way they look, this, that, or the other. I think an ability to perform the physical requirements of what professional wrestling entails should be a requirement. And how that gets sorted, I don't know exactly. I think it kind of comes down to the individual coach, but it's hard for me to go out and tell other people how to run a business or an industry that I'm fucking brand new in. Who the fuck am I? Did I lose your rip?
Yeah. Oh, I'm on. Okay.
Internet's out. Tell the people.
Hey, everybody. Just thought I'd let you know that the internet is out. So
Run this off my phone.
we're running this off Vaughn Lilas's phone. So we'll see what the hell happened. There you are. You're back. Yes, I'm back. I need somebody to ask me some questions and to spend some goddamn money asking goddamn questions. Because if not, there ain't no.
You've been rambling with your kids, man. You've been talking. I'm not gonna interrupt.
But I'm waiting for a guy to ask a question that's got money.
Screaming Baboon said he asked one.
Okay. Okay. Is that a paid for question? I don't know.
Well, Screaming Baboon, I'd say he's paid enough to ask
Oh.
a question. My goodness.
Well, let's.
Jesus Christ.
Troops like a legend. He's been training. Well, he talked to me training with Susio, Chris Silvio, and then he's training with at Booker T's place now. So he's just getting around trying to make it. In the meantime, he's having real announcing in MMA, and he's got real fights in MMA. So he's a legitimate badass. So he's about 6'4", and I'm like 5'1", standing next to Lila. So what the hell, right?
You're just not answering green questions anymore.
Shane Parks is saying, when did you work in ICW or WCW? Hell, I worked in WCW part of 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94. So I was going in there for years, just driving in from Seymour, whatever. And I would bring guys for them. I remember one time I brought Kane, and there he was in the back seat of my car like this, and I just let him sit that way because he was just so polite, nice and polite, and he come in. People saw him. They said, hey, "Hell, he's a goddamn giant." So that's all the time I was working for WCW. Hell, I ran developmental towns for WCW. In other words, I ran Medora, Indiana, Austin, Indiana, Scottsburg, Indiana, Seymour, Indiana, a lot of towns, Shelbyville, Indiana, Rushville. Ole would be the booker in WCW, and he'd give me some dates to run, and then guys got to work. So the small towns were seeing all the big nationwide stars. Then Bischoff come on and said, well, we ain't running no more small towns. They just want to run big towns, and they'd rather lose money and go into a big prestigious building and let people know they're wrestling in a high school. But it's easy to say that when it's not your goddamn money. So what the hell, right? But that was when I was working for WCW. So I worked there where Watts was the boss, Ole was the boss, basically. And I love working for Ole. And I liked working for Watts too. I was an old guy, and they were old guys, and they were all wrestlers. Now the wrestling business is run by guys that weren't wrestlers. So you get what you pay for. So what the hell, right? Screaming Baboon, how did you train Troop? Or did you train Troop? Oh, hell no. How do you know him? I know him just from hanging out, listening, seeing him on the internet all the time. And was trained with one of my guys, Susio, Chris Silvio, and then he's training at Booker T school now. So Blake's going around making a name himself in MMA and pro wrestling. But he likes to pro wrestling. He loves to fight, but he loves his pro wrestling too, and I ain't mad at him about that. Put it that way.
All right. I'm going to attempt to change my computer back over to the internet and get it off my phone. What is it called? Your hotspot.
Hotspot.
I'm trying to run this off my phone, so I'm gonna move this over. So if we go blank for a minute, we'll be back. Hopefully. There. Still showing weak internet up there. Hopefully it lasts. If not, I can run for a little bit longer on my phone. But hopefully this will kick back in. There we go. Streaming baboon.
Oh, streaming baboons and Rip. You see Pez Wally kick Ole's ass over the chair. No. What are you talking about? I guess if that was a WCW or whatever, I don't know. I usually didn't watch the TV unless I was on it, and I would just automatically record it. But Pez was my he was my partner in ICW, and then Ole was my boss a lot, so I got along with both of them. But Ole was a ribber. He would test you with everything, and he'd love to test Pez, and Pez would love for Ole to test him because Pez could beat Ole, whether it be bench pressing, any kind of powerlifting thing, and he could take Ole down and dominate him wrestling too. So anyway,
Rip said there's a story that Ole took Pez's chair and called him the N-word. Any recollection of that or hear that story?
I heard stuff like that with Ole, but Ole would look as stern as he could and act like he was a racist, but he was just fucking ribbing you, and he was just seeing your reaction. And it, Ole was ribbing all the time, but you didn't really because Ole was just so stern in the ring, and he would get you, and then he'd get me, and he'd always get my arm, and he'd get on that elbow, and he'd really hurt me and shit. So then when I'd get him, I'd do the same shit. But I was trying to I'd try and beat the shit out of Ole. And then he'd give me the office to loosen up. I was just ribbing. I said, okay. Okay, John Tucker, $2, baby, says, who's to blame if kickouts go wrong, the ref or the wrestler? Well, if I'm underneath there, if that ain't the finish, I'm kicking out. And kicking out early. I don't give a shit about the 2.9 go. Oh my God, I can't. No, don't get you because if I'm the boss and you're told, the boss says, ref, if they don't kick out, if their shoulders down, you count them son of bitches out, because you got to learn to keep how to get a shoulder up, how to get a good kick out, a power kick out, see, years ago, the only person I seen to get a shoulder up was Ronnie Garvin. Everybody else would do kick outs because it's so visual, and very rarely it would be like the first kick out would be like on none, then a 1, then a 1.5, then a 2, then a 2.5. You're showing you're breaking them down and shit. But when every fucking cover is 2.9, fuck you. Now you're just doing wrestling shit, trying to do like shit you see on fucking TV. So if the kickouts go wrong, tell the ref if their shoulders are down, count the son of a bitch outright. But a lot of refs would go down when you're getting covered and you're saying, okay, kick out, make sure you kick out, make sure you kick out. Okay. Frank's Pickle Barrel ass on fire. He said, Rip, did you like the mock spot this week? And I guess that's the one where he had all these, whatever it was that stuck in him. And then to me, that ain't pro wrestling. If you want to do that shit, that's your business. But ladies and gentlemen, my match is an exhibition. I am very good. There's no real violence here. There's no guaranteed in my match. I will guarantee it. Where other guys try and act like they're tough guys and take a bunch of shit, if you want to do that, that's your body and that's your business. So at least everybody's doing different shit, and that's the main thing. Let's see. Pot Tripper Jr., $2 super sticker baby. Was Buddy Landale superplex the worst bump you took? That was a horrible bump. I remember when I hit that, I was sliding across the ring and shit, and that sumbitch hurt me. But if you're in bump shape, it's not that bad. Now the way you get out of bump shape is don't wrestle. So in guys today, they're only working maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And that's not really enough. We'd have 1,000 matches in 3 years. So your body's always in bump shape. then when you're coming in for somebody and you're not in bump shape and you just have a regular match and you haven't done it in a couple months or whatever, oh my God, it's like the first day of football practice. For the next couple of days, you can't move. Your whole body's rebelled on you. It hurts so much. So the key is to staying in bump shape. The key, and so that's why you need to stay in the goddamn ring and do all your fucking basics like it's a goddamn fucking match. You want to break a sweat, take an arm drag, take a backdrop, take a slam, do some crisscrosses, learn to wibble wobble, and don't bump the same as everybody else. I don't want everything too smooth. If it's too smooth, it's goddamn fucking phony. Anyway,
Dave's channel wants to know who came up with Hercules Samard.
Who did? Who asked that?
Dave's channel.
Oh, I don't see it on here.
Well, I just asked it. Who came up with Hercules Samard?
Oh, Emile Dupre did it in the Maritimes. There was some guy that was on TV when a singer, and his name was Samard, and I supposedly had muscles, so he made me Hercules Samard. Excellent question. One of my many names, Hercules Samard.
Charles Alford in the house today.
Hey, Charles, what's up, baby? Shane Parks, recently saw you chained to Steve Pardee while Buzzy Rose wrestled Adrian Adonis in Portland so you wouldn't interfere. Do you have any memories of this? Yeah, what we did, the first night in, I was wrestling Steve Pardee, and he did something. He drop kicked me, drop kicked Buddy. His rope went flying, threw me over the top rope, threw Buddy over the top. And Steve Pardee just come in from San Francisco that day while he was trained down there with Roy Shires, I think. And because Buddy had worked on top in San Francisco when it was still a territory. So we made him look like $1 billion. And then I was chained to him, and he was really pulling me and shit like that because he didn't know how to work it and stuff like that. But what we did was we put him over so big. We had, I think it was the Tuesday night special, and Steve Pardee was the first guy that had a Buddy Rose hair match, and he lost his match, and then he had the burr cut. And then Buddy shaved like 6 or 7 guys of the heads, like he got the sheep herders, Butch and Luke too, and they worked babyface. And there were some other guys and got it, but finally, then Roddy Piper had the great big hair match with Buddy Rose, and Buddy had his head shaved. So it was a storytelling of Steve Pardee to the next guy, to Butch, to Luke. Everybody got when they had Buddy in the Playboy match, then the loser of the thing got their head shaved. And it wasn't like a Memphis haircut with Lawler where they trimmed it a little bit. No, they took that goddamn thing and buzzed that sumbitch down where you was bald and ugly. So when Piper did it with Buddy, they went to the big building downtown, and they drew like 7,500 people, which was big time because we ran Portland 4 times a month on a Saturday, and then they ran the Portland special once a month on Tuesday. So you had wrestling at least 5 times a month in the city of Portland. So then when Buddy and Piper worked in the big building, Buddy had Piper down. He picked him up, blah, blah, blah. Piper did a desperation small package, and he sold the whole time from Buddy beating him up earlier, and they shaved Buddy's head. And then he come back the next time, and he had the mask on with a wig sewed on top of it. So for the next so many months, they'd try and pull that wig down. If they pulled it, it would always almost go up. And finally, when they pulled that son of a bitch off, Buddy's hair, he had bleached it, and he pulled it off, and he looked like the Playboy Buddy Rose all over again. He had all of his heat back, and it was back to being in Buddy's army.
Shane Parks in green wants to know if you ever wrestled Barry Windham.
Did I wrestle Barry Windham? Yeah, I wrestled Barry. I can't remember where it was. It's probably for WCW on a house show or whatever. But you couldn't imagine how great he was. And he just let me call it. He was a baby face. But he was so big. Hell, he's about 6'7", so coordinated. And when he started out, he's a big, tall string bean. And he started filling out. And now he's just fucking huge. He's about the size of his dad, Blackjack Blackjack Mulligan, but Barry Windham was one of the greatest wrestlers. But I don't think he really had much interest in pro wrestling. He'd go in and work a while, then he would disappear for a while. I think he just liked other things in life and had been around in the business so long that he wanted to do some other stuff. But no, Barry Windham was a great, great talent. And when you got in there with him, you saw how goddamn tall he was, but he could work. He was a big guy that could work like a small guy if need be. But no, Barry Windham was Jack Mulligan's son, and he was just great. So that's it on that was it on Barry Windham. Which match was better for me? Well, I worked 6 in a row with Bruiser Brody in Kansas City. And then I worked with Ox Baker for 4. Believe it or not, I made more money. I drew more with Ox Baker. Because Oxy, I let him be Oxy. I give him that microphone. And I treated everything that the only reason that I worked 4 weeks with Brody, but the only time he beat me was when Ox Baker pushed me off the top turnbuckle and I took the big bump. Then Brody hit me with the big leg and he got his hand raised. But then I jumped up and started screaming at Ox Baker. This is all Ox Baker's fault. Ox Baker did this to me. Ox Baker hurt me. He pushed me off, whatever, blah, 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 because I knew I was going to go off with Foxy Oxy the next 4 weeks. So I give him as much time talking as he needed to get over. I only did things to Ox Baker look good. I'd say, Oxy, don't sell now. Don't sell now. Register, sell. And the end, when I finally sprayed him in the eyes with Brenda sprayed him in the eyes with the spray, and then George come in and he tried to help whatever. Then I got on with him and I worked with Mike. Or no, I worked with Geigel. That's what it was. Geigel for 4 weeks, and then Mike George for 4 weeks. So I went from Brody to Ox Baker to Bob Geigel to whatever I just said. So that was like 16 weeks in a row working in Kansas City. So Brody had his 4, Oxy had his 4, Geigel had his 4, and Mike George had his 4. And they were all hell. When I was working with Geigel, he was 63 years old. At the time, I was like 32 years old, and Geigel was going over the top rope, and I was beating the shit out of him. And I just did this waylaid when just doing it as a rib to see if he could take it. And he'd just say, "Oh, hit me as hard as you want." You know, he was the boss. It was his territory with this and that. So he was out there doing it. So anyway, hey, look, next week right here live on YouTube, the incredible Rob Van Dam will be right here next Friday, 12 Eastern, the normal concrete time. Next Friday, Rob Van Dam will be here. That's right. Rob Van Dam, superstar, will be here at Friday, March 28th at 12 p.m. Indy time. So, you know, he's going to be most versatile. He's going to open his mind up. He's going to say what he wants to do. So if you want to listen to Rob Van Dam and you see him right here on Wrestling with Rip Rogers, just don't forget to tune in next week. That's right. Next week, Friday, March 28th, 12 Eastern Standard Time, to see the great Rob Van Dam. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Big George got Rob Van Dam. He's the one that got him in here. So he's getting a little extra camera time. He can plug his stuff. He can plug anything. He can plug his podcast with this and that. Did I ever wrestle Billy Jack Haynes? Yeah, I worked with Billy Jack Haynes, and everybody else was scared to death of him. I was scared to death of him too, but I said, don't worry, Billy. I know what you can do. I will make you look like a superstar. And just please say to me, because let's just say he has a bit of trouble with anger management, and I knew that. But he used to come and watch me when I was Buddy Rose's partner in Portland. He said, he said when he was a mark, he just always wanted to get a hold of Buddy Rose. Buddy would go up to him and just get in and threaten him and everything, and just laugh. And he didn't. I don't think Buddy knew that Billy Jack could have just destroyed him. But what the hell, right? You got to have a good time. Did I ever see him really beat? I knew he had a temper, but whenever there was some big violence in the ring and to see everything, I was trying to get there before somebody grabbed me and threw me in there. Shane Park says, after you became a pro wrestler, which pro wrestler hero of yours to get to meet? As many as possible. I remember me having my picture taken with Bruno Sammartino. I love that. I tried to get a picture taken with Dick the Bruiser, and that son of a bitch, he wouldn't even take a picture with me. He's treating me like a Mark Still. So that's what happens with that. But now, years ago, it's like when I started wrestling, it was a big deal to get a picture taken. You'd either have to have the like the photographers like Romer or like some of the other guys like Paul Heyman or whatever. They'd have to take a picture of you, and then they'd have to get the film director, and they'd give you the picture. Or then the Polaroids come out, and I take a lot of Polaroids pictures, but they never come out good and stuff. But in today's world, if I was breaking in now, God, you could take videos with each one and stuff like that. But it's continually evolved. First, there wasn't very many pictures at all. But like I had, you got videos with Roddy Piper. I got pictures with Randy, and at the time, you don't really think about it. But now everybody's got a camera, everybody's got a phone, and everybody's taking videos of stuff. Everybody's taking pictures of stuff. But years ago, it was a big deal. You said, "Did you get any pictures taken here?" I said, "Well, I don't think if I did, I didn't. It went down the flood I had, but most of the stuff, the pictures I had, unless somebody sent them to me, I didn't have any because they just they disappeared." But I would if some guy wanted to take a picture, I said, "You sure you want to?" And then I'd take a picture with him. Sometimes I'd act like a worm. Sometimes we'd be shaking hands. Sometimes we'd be putting the big bicep up or whatever, just being in a crazy character. Like if you're with the Bushwhackers, they're going, "Hey," or this or that. But everybody tried to stay in character. But it was an honor to me to get my take with anybody that was another pro wrestler. Yeah, I got my picture taken with Nature Boy to Buddy Rogers, and I remember that was in New York City, and I just happened to be driving and was going somewhere to some kind of seminar, meet and greet or whatever, and Buddy Rogers, and he sees me and he goes, "Hey, Rip, come here." I go, "Who, me? Holy shit, getting your..." And then the thing about it was Buddy died that year. So, wow. And he looked and he was strutting. He was doing this and that. He was the everybody copied. And he was the guy that Vince Sr., he went from the NWA. He invented the WWF. So just because he just wanted to have Buddy Rogers, the great Buddy Rogers, as his champion. So that once, see, Buddy Rogers was the guy who was the NWA champion and he became the WWF champion. He was the first guy to ever do that. I don't think any. Oh, neither one was the entertainer in my business or whatever. I didn't think neither one was. Dusty he could talk so good, but then he got in the ring and then Dusty couldn't be the champion except for a short period of time because the champion's got to be able to work babyface or heel, which Dusty could do, but he couldn't pull no 45 to hour matches with top babyface or heel. He couldn't do it because he wasn't in shape. But that's all on him. If he wanted to get heavy and out of shape, that's on him. You don't see Cody that way. You don't see Dustin that way. No, he made them stay in shape, but he did intestinal fortitude, or just he ate too much. Let's see. Was Paul Orndorff a really tough guy? Did you ever work with him? I worked with Paul Orndorff in Smoky Mountain, and I had one of the greatest matches I ever had. And he said, man, that was just so much fun. I said, Paul, I know what you know. And then we had the match, and it was probably one of the most fun matches I ever had in my life. And he just he did everything. I said, no, remember, I want you to stay stronger on but it was fun working the great Paul Orndorff. He was just really great. Let's see, did Screaming Baboon, did you ever get your bag shitted? Yeah, X-Pac shit in my goddamn bag. And then I said, what the hell did you shit in my goddamn bag? He said, well, I thought you stole Jerry Lynn's payoff. I said, no, Jerry had took his trunks off, and he had $100 bill because he got paid from Mike Shaw. We was working Upper Peninsula, Michigan. We had 6-man cards. It was Jerry Lynn and as I called it, the legendary Lightning Kid, me, Mike Shaw, and then they had one other match or whatever it was. We had 3 singles, one come back in a 6-man, give him a 2-hour show. And so Mike would pay us. And what he did was he stuck it down his trunks and then forgot about it. So when he went in the shower, I saw his little $100 bill all wadded up go in the shower. So I took my foot when my foot wasn't hurt, and it was like my hand. So then all of a sudden Jerry's going crazy. Oh my God, I lost my money, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I did my thing, and I give him his $100 payoff. I actually saved his $100 payoff, but what I did is he learned not to do that, and he didn't do it again. And X-Pac at the time was, I always called him the legendary Lightning Kid, and he was about 8. Yeah, he was 18 years old. He turned 18 when he was working in Global, because we went to the Denny's, and then we had the Lightning Kid's 18th birthday on that thing. But anyway, and then see, my greatest 2 wrestlers was Terry Funk and Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Terry Funk was he could do anything. He was just all emotion. As a baby face, you believed him. As a heel, you believed in him. And I just thought those two were the 2 greatest that I ever seen. And that's why when they made you the NWA champion, you had to be able to go 60, and you might not know the guy. Just go in and be able to pull a good match out of him, and be able to work with a different opponent every week. And you were going basically 60 every night. And that's what being the NWA champion was. You had to be a wrestling machine, be able to work babyface, be able to work heel, turn it on and on. And when guys, they would give guys the belt for a short amount of time, like 11-day thing. But that was to just say, then they could say he was an ex-champion. But when you're making champions, he won 16 champions, that's fucking bullshit. It's like in boxing, Ali won it 3 times. They'd have stuff like that. Like Sugar Ray Robinson was like 4 times or whatever like that. You don't come in and win if you're winning the title that many times, why don't you just keep it on and make it mean something? The more champions you have, the less the belt be. The less the belt means. I remember they'd have shows in St. Louis, and Sam Muchnick, he says, well, I'm not going to go there and have all these guys there because this guy was an ex-NW. Now you're advertising the card. There's 3 ex-NWA. Well, I want to have Dory Funk, Terry Funk, and Jack Briscoe on there. Gene Kaniski. Oh, no, I can't use that. No, that's too many ex-NWA champions. It looks like almost everybody on the card was a champion, it seems like. You got to make that fucking champion stand out. Here's the NWA heavyweight champion, or at the one time had that prestigious award of being the NWA heavyweight champion. I hope I answered that. Who? No, I was just on cards with him. I would. Oh, Terry. See, Dory. No matter what he worked, he was boring. He was a great technician. He was a great technician. But Terry, you didn't know what was going to happen. He was going to come in, start beating himself in the head, hitting himself in the head with a chair, and he'd rather almost kill himself than kill you. But he was all raw emotion and come on, you son of a bitch, I'll beat your ass, motherfucker. And then Dory was hitting him with the classic European uppercuts. The lifters, the greatest technician in the world, and with a bland face. Where Terry was nothing but shit and shinola, emotion, intensity, blah, 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 I'll threaten you, do this and that. And then Dory's doing a nice arm drag and a step over toe hold or whatever. They were both great in their own way. And when they were a tag team, the two completely different characters, it was just so good. Did I ever wrestle Scott Hall early in his early career? No, I was I'd wrestled in Kansas City. He had already been there in WCW. I was there when he was there, but he was Big Scott Hall there, I think it was. But he was trained. I think he was trained by the legendary Sonny Myers too. I'm thinking Sonny Myers would train all the guys in Kansas City. But Scott Hall, he was funnier than fuck, and you didn't realize how big he was until you stood up to him. And because Kevin Nash was a giant, and Scott Hall was a legit 6'5", and with the gimmick boots, he might have been. He always wearing cowboy boots. He might have been like 6'6", and me, hell, I was trying to be 5'2" and stuff. Tony Khan, hey, please call me. I need a job. 317. There's my phone number right there. Tony Khan, please call me. I'm waiting on calls from Tony Khan. I'm waiting on calls from TNA. I'm waiting on calls from NWA and Billy Corgan. There's my picture. There's my shirt on sale right now. Remember, you can get them, get your wrestling t-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com, and you can get my book from Amazon. What Screaming Baboon say? Rip, did any of the boys what? Huh? Oh, PayPal, right? I can't hear you. Well, no, the headset's not working. I'm just hearing you from the room. Well, I'm not here. Well, I got the headset on, but you're not coming through the thing. I'm just hearing you like you're in the other room, barely. There's our PayPal address, ladies and gentlemen. So since I'm pretty much homeless, got no money, this and that, I got to be like Screaming Baboon, Screaming Baboon. He's living in Australia, going to work, and Screaming Baboon. He's hit me with the PayPal number and sending money to Lila. So I put a little petrol in, got a little gas. I can actually eat and stuff like that. Screaming Baboon, the man, the myth, the lady says, did any of the boys F, May, or Moolah? You? Me? No. I guess no, wasn't me. Did any of the boys? I would hope so. They did. Maybe they could get free room and board, and maybe they could get the girls to pay them and make a little money on the side. So I don't know for sure. I just know, did I do it? No. But I probably did every other, whatever. But May or Moolah, no. Oh, let's see.
Your thoughts on the empty arena match?
Oh, the empty arena match was so good because when Terry Funk, when he gave up, it was just so good. He sat there where everybody else don't want to do a job. Terry Funk screaming, I give up. I give up. I give up. which is the ultimate. You're giving a guy a winner and a loser. And here's the great Terry Funk. It's like striking out with the bases loaded in the World Series. And he did his best, but he lost. That's what we pay to see, winners and losers, not a DQ. Count out. Oh, hell, I did. Now if I talk, now it's real loud. Now if I talk, I hear myself and it's exploding.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Oh,
see there.
Sure.
There. Now you can hear me.
Okay, Pot Tripper Jr. says, well, I can't hear Lilas, but it said, oh, okay. He asked me, well, all of a sudden
How about now? Can you hear me now, Rick?
Well, you just seen me.
Finger Stoner, Greg Valentine or Scorpio. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you too good. Scared the shit out of me. I don't know if Greg Valentine, if he was a heavy pot smoker. Now, Scorpio, he was pretty awesome with it. Now, I didn't know if Greg was a heavy pot guy or if he just looked like he was, or he was. Seeing Greg Valentine, it looked like he was mean or in a bad mood. Where Scorpio, he was blah, blah, blah. And if he was smoking dope, it didn't matter. He liked his stuff. But Greg Valentine, he just looked like he was in a bad mood all the time, or his pants were too tight or whatever. Maybe I was just reading him wrong, but I didn't want to say something. He might hit me real hard.
Thanks for the $2 super chat there, Pot Tripper, Po Tripper Jr. Fantastic. Greatest live ever, they said today, Rip. I tell you what, the production of this show just gets better and better every week. We've been doing this for 3 years. And I tell you, we just get new and improved production every single week. Shane Parks in Green says, any King Kong Bundy stories?
Any King Kong Bundy story? I've told this one before, but we got extra people on here all the time. So I'll tell you the story about, as Ernie Ladd would say, big fat Bundy. Bundy, you big fat turd. You're dumbing yourself out of business. But anyway, me and King Kong Bundy, we're driving down the highway in Louisiana. So, and I just told this the other, laugh about it again, is when all the motorcycles guys come by, flip Bundy off. They were some kind of the motorcycle jackets, etc. And that's where I'm sitting there in the front seat with Bundy, and they recognize him, so they won't pass him up, and they're flipping him off and shit. So Bundy says, he just pushes the button. He's still driving. He pulls this gun out. And I'm sitting there, holy shit. He pulls the gun because Bundy's from New Jersey. So you got to be a hoodlum anyway, or a thug or whatever, just to live in New Jersey. So he transfers the gun over to his left hand. So now he's got the gun sticking out the window. So he starts shooting. Now he's going bang, bang. I'm holy shit. He says, no, I'm shooting over their heads. But all of a sudden the motorcycle guys were going, They were figure eighting all of them and trying to get the fuck out of there. And the legendary King Kong Bundy, he won that battle. But there was, as Ernie would say, the big fat Bundy taking care of business. That's the story with it.
Hey, Rip, story of you and Bundy in the battle royal. When they're a battle royal where you hit him and then jumped out or something like that?
Yeah, I did that, but all I did there was I hit Bundy as hard as I could. Then I jumped over the top rope as a rib. Then he couldn't get me, so I got the last one in. So he come in, he goes,
story.
Well, it is, and he come in. He said, "Don't worry, I'll pull that one on some asshole like you did to me." He said, "But I won't jump over the top rope. I'll have to go over the lean and go over because I can't jump over the top rope." King Kong Bundy, he was a hell of a guy. He was funnier than shit, and I just enjoyed it. And I always I'd always make him take the big Cine Cruiser car, and then every once in a while he'd get mad, and I'd be driving my beat up Pinto. So here we are driving down to Pinto, but it looked like the car was like this, and the tires were the thing, because I was driving and I weighed probably 212 pounds, and there's big fat Bundy weighing at least twice that. So that was always a thing. So that was cool.
Fede Bynot, the new person in green last week. We didn't know how
All
to say
right.
the name.
Yeah, we didn't know how to say
New
it.
member. What you thought of Kevin Nash as a worker, Rip?
Well, when I saw Kevin at first, now everybody starts out as sort of like a rib. Now, first of all, Kevin was a great athlete. He was played basketball at Tennessee for I don't know how many years. And then when he started wrestling, he was a bouncer at some bar in Atlanta. But he was tall, and then he could do his basics. He became a talker, and he learned how to manipulate. He learned the psychology of wrestling. He learned how to keep himself good, and he always had a job, and he always made money. So whatever it is, he's doing something right. If somebody can keep employment, you're doing something right. You know how to stroke, you know how to manipulate the office if need be. You get along with the guys you needed to get along with. And he was always a leader and not a follower. And he made a lot of money working with the big boys. It was either WCW or WWE. And I remember I was in a 6-man when he first started as Oz. So I said, no, Kevin, don't. No, me and Pat Rose will take the bumps. We'll put the baby faces over. We'll get their shit. We'll get their shit in for them. When you get in, become the goddamn killer. But they were going to win and take the fall on me and Pat. Versus you go in there, kill everybody that fucking moves, and then you get out of there, get me and Pat back in, and the comebacks will be on us. And you just like, and you walk off into the sunset as me and Pat was both getting pinned or both were selling, putting the baby faces over, and you walk around like you're a tough big shot because that's what we wanted to see, and that's what happened.
All right, Frank. Frank's Pickle Barrel House is so impressed. He said our show will be on a boom box next week. I think he's talking about the old school ghetto blasters. That's how advanced we're getting on this show.
Yeah, well,
RVD, I'm sure will appreciate and love all the technology and production of Wrestling with Rip Rogers when he's on here next week.
Yeah. Years ago when I was an inevitable kid, I used to go to the ring with the boom box. I think it cost $69 at that time or whatever it was, but I could go to the ring and then I would I would play my song, whatever the fuck it was, with the boom box on, or I would take it down to like Ronnie P. Gossett if he was at the announcer's table, whatever, and they would play the thing over the loudspeaker. But the Disco Kid, he was rotten. Mark Shire starting out was the world's worst. Then when I was Hercules Samard, I got a little bit better. When I was the Disco Kid, I got a little bit better. Came Rip Rogers putting it together. And in probably about at least 2 years after that, and having all these matches and traveling with Randy Savage every day and living with him, I picked his brain and we do nothing but talk every night of why we did this, the timing when to do this, how do you work this style of guy, that style of guy, this and that. And he was a second generation wrestler, so he had this much knowledge. And my dad worked at the post office, so I got this much wrestling ability from my dad. So Randy had been around the business. He'd been in the locker room since he was a little kid with his dad in the dressing rooms and stuff, and working. His dad was one of the first major cable stars they used to have wrestling from Chicago, and Angelo Poffo was one of the major stars. And since it was on network television, on the Dumont network, it's like he would fly into San Francisco to be the major star. It'd be like if they just had the territories and then Ole Anderson was on the Superstation. Angelo was he was a major league superstar, would travel all of the big shows. They'd fly him in like a big shot and everything. So that was cool. And Randy was brought up in that kind of atmosphere.
Screamy Baboon says, Rip, did you ever eat at Stu Hart's house, and did you ever wrestle Bret Hart?
No, Bret Hart was when I was there. Bret Hart was working for WWE, but he would come home a lot, and we bullshit at the regular bar. I can't remember what the name of it was because hell, that was 1988. And then I went to Stu's twice, but I never. I had to go pick up something and take one of the healer Babyface's band to the meeting spot for Jerry Morrill because it was going to be late. And then Jerry Morrill was the driver of the heel band, was what it was. But I was been to Stu, and Stu would always invite me in, but I said, no, that's okay, Stu, because I knew he's wanting to get his hands on me because he never got me in there to stretch bear anything. But he would always just grab me, and he had the big ass strong hands. Hey, come back here, you bastard. Hey. But anyway, it didn't get any better than working for.
The chat line, the super chat line is open. We got about 15 minutes here. Super chat line is open. If you're not in green, go to our page, go to our channel, YouTube channel, Wrestling with Rip Rogers, and right there we subscribe. Typically, if you do it from your phone, I think, just go ahead and click on that. It'll open up the part to be a membership, and then you can show up in green here in the of Wrestling with Rip. Ask Rip Rogers live, baby. Go do that in green, just like Fed there last week. How did you get around backstage politics to have long in your career, Rip?
Well, the first thing you do is have a good attitude. No matter what the boss wants, you do it to the best of your ability and do it with enthusiasm and say, thank you for letting me work, boss. I just want to be a pro wrestler. I'll do it. Be here. Promoters want guys with good attitudes. They don't want guys you tell them, or they half-ass it or do a stupid job or kick out at 3. Hey, make your ass out of there. Put your opponent. If you do what you're told, it's like you'd come into a place, and let's just say, as an example, you was working for Ron Fuller. You might start out the first match, and then, which like I did, I had left there after 11 months. I had worked 10 weeks in a row with Austin Idol in the last match. Big thing because I was working with him, but the people of the company were working underneath me, which was, you didn't want to see Ron Fuller or Robert Fuller or Jimmy Golden or Bob Armstrong. You see them all the time as main event. So they would step down to give another guy a chance to work main event to make more money, but it kept, then they could be moved up again. So the thing is, when you get the chance, when you bust your balls, and it's like the next time I come in to Ron Fuller's territory, it was Continental, then he'd gotten even bigger. The first night in, I started an angle with people knew who I was, and I started off the first weekend as semi-main event because people knew me, people hated me. They had, I was in there with Brenda as my valet, and then there was Adrian with Linda as his valet, and we went off and running, and I worked 24 weeks in a row with Adrian Street. Then when I left there, I told Fuller I was leaving. He said, this is when they had territories. I said, I need to get out of here. He goes, you just got here. Because most people, they want to stay as long as they can. I said, nope, I've been here twice. There's other territories. I knew some of the territories were closing, and I wanted to get and work as many as I could. I wanted to see all the different angles, all the different camera angles, where I could meet a guy here and I could meet these other people, because you wanted to meet as many of the guys as you could and become friends with them, because it was always, if a buddy was there, you could call him up ahead of time and say, hey, see if you can get me in that territory. And the buddy, by them talking to the promoter and stuff like that, it was always like this. It didn't hurt. And he might say later on, but no, he's a good talent. You prove yourself, and you make a name for yourself in another territory. And then the other places, when I started, I had no name as Mark Shire. I had none as Hercules Samard. I had none as a Disco Kid. But when I became Rip Rogers, then I started getting a name. Then I could go to other different places and stuff like that. And I always said wrestling was the greatest, worst business in the world. But then again, all business is that way. It's basically all who you know. So what the hell? Any other questions here?
At least knocked out Vito's question. Vito Andretti in the house in green. He wanted to know Adrian Street's story. So you mentioned Adrian Street right there.
Well, see, I didn't even see that. So I was waiting for a question to pop up there. Something.
Yeah, me too. When was the last time Angelo Poffo worked?
I don't know.
He's never seen a match of his.
Really? I know
he have anything on YouTube, Rip?
He probably does. Probably just Google his thing. Hell, he was working. He was 60-some years old. I remember when he was 58 years old on our ICW TV show. Now, Angelo Poffo used to hold the world sit-up records with the Ripley's, believe it or not. He did 6,033 sit-ups in a row. He did 6,000 in a row, and then he did an extra 33 for the every year that Jesus Christ was on this earth. So that was why he did 6,033. And he did that the hour on TV. They had our wrestling TV show on ICW, and in the corner of the bottom, there was him doing sit-ups the whole time during the show. So he was showing everybody, at the time he was 58 years old, that he was out there going out there competing and going out there kicking ass at age 58.
Do you remember him as the carpetbagger?
Yeah, he was what he did was he had the carpetbagger in when I first met him and we went to the Maritimes. He had the dollar sign, and then he became the miser. But I was the guy that nicknamed the miser, and he took the name the miser. That was cooler than the carpetbagger. But he had the same dollar signs on if he wore the hood, and then dollar signs on the back of his robes and stuff.
You got a word from Blake Troop, Rip? Did you get a text from him wanting to know what happened to us or anything like that?
No, I don't know, because my phone's in back of me, but I didn't hear any noise, and I think it's still on. I haven't got any calls. Maybe I turned the thing off, whatever. But he was in and out. He got a little bit of camera time, so what the hell, right? Hey, when I was a kid, they had the World Series, and a lot of times, all of a sudden, you're watching the World Series, and they'd have a big thing, and they'd show a bird on a crow on like a telephone. In other words, you're watching the World Series, and all of a sudden they have technical difficulties. And you missed 3 innings, but hey, don't worry, we're back in the 7th inning now. The Yankees are beating the Reds or whatever. But there's always been technical difficulties and everything. And our production guy right now, I think he's on vacation a little bit, or he wasn't feeling good, or he didn't get it all in right. And shit's going to happen. Now, the bad thing is if it breaks down and I'm here. If I'm here, I just unplug the thing. And what the hell? I don't know how to do anything.
That was straight internet. The internet just went out at Lila Studios. I have no control of the internet going out, Rip.
Okay.
So, all right. Let's see. Back to work. Looks like we're I don't know. We're dying out here. So, any last super chat questions? Yeah, maybe everybody's saving their money for next week for the big Rob Van Dam show. Saving up for the chat, saving up for the questions. Got RVD coming in next week, 12 o'clock sharp, concrete time, every single Friday. I mean, for the last 3 years, we've been on every Friday at 12 o'clock sharp, So that's the way it'll be.
Yeah, sometimes change, but we're pretty concrete. Well, the vet.
Sometimes Thursday night, sometimes Thursday afternoon, sometimes Friday at 11, but most of the time.
Well, some of the times, yeah. Well, you know how it is.
Has the machine in here says Angelo Poffo's last appearances were at DePaolo Memorial shows.
Yeah, in Buffalo. Yeah, Ilio DePaolo. He was from Buffalo. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that name. I guess I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was a big Italian star years ago.
Shane Park said, "Any thoughts on Turbo and Floyd and AEW, Rip?"
Yeah, Greg Smith, $2 sticker says, I'm determined to get word to Tony Khan. Yes, we need everybody in the world to go on a hunger strike or whatever. Get on the evening news is that Tony Rip Rogers needs a job, or Billy Corgan, Rip Rogers needs a job, or Impact Wrestling, Rip Rogers needs a job, or just any. But then again, any girl 60, blind, crippled, or crazy just wants to give me money. That's okay. Just, watch your calories. Don't be hefty. But so Greg Smith, the $2 thing, I'm determined to get word to Tony Khan. I'm determined that you do too. And if they say no, convince them.
How about the Turbo and Floyd question, Rip?
Let's see.
Shane
Any
Parks
thoughts?
isn't green after all.
Oh, Turbo and Floyd in AEW. That's the greatest thing ever. They went in there to do enhancement work. And all of a sudden, they steal the show because they're TNF, Turbo and Floyd. So the big thing about it, all the years Shiloh stuck it out to make it. And then Randy, I had at OVW, I had Randy teaching my class. And I would sit out and yell and scream at the guys and the girls, but Randy would be in there instructing and stuff. And when Von Lilas and me and Randy, we were teaching Pat McAfee and the little kid, I see his face, but I can't think of his name. He helped out too, but Randy was in the ring with Pat McAfee, and McAfee was the greatest talent I ever seen that picked things up just like that. This man could cut a 20-minute promo about anything. You show him a move once, if he'd have it down once or twice, and he was never nervous in the ring. And it was just so easy when I had Von Lilas and Turbo. Well, I call him Turbo Floyd, and I just and Shiloh. I call Turbo and Floyd instead of Truth. But anyway, Greg Smith says he's going to send messages to every AEW talent. Well, don't. A lot of times that gets you in trouble. If I'm any good, which I am, then all the other guys, then they say, well, we don't want him in here. He'll try and take over. I don't want to take over. I just want to get paid, baby. I just got to make some money because I ain't got no money. I ain't got no money, honey. So Social Security don't make that much. And then you get your Medicare A and B and working on C, and life is tough all the way. And you can only get so many food bank things. But anyway. Let's see.
It's awesome. Tell us about the beard you're growing back, Rip. Are you letting this grow real long again? And,
well, I'm thinking I'm going to let it.
And why do you keep rubbing the side of your face that the microphone's on? Are you ribbing me on purpose? Is that whole thing?
I'm usually rubbing it on the right side because I'm right-handed.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to do it like this.
You're not ribbing me, just doing it because the
last
hour and a half.
No, because all the time you've been in here, sometimes it's loud, and then it's back to I can just hear your voice like you're talking from the bedroom. It's going in. You should be able to hear me
through your headphone right now.
Well, I can hear you through the headphone, but there will be spaces where it'll blank out for like a second or two.
Yeah, it's a delay. That's all it is. It's a delay.
Well, whatever it is, the other way was a.
But that really doesn't have anything to do with you rubbing the microphone, really.
Well, whatever. I'm right-handed.
I like how you defer the rubbing of the microphone to. Well, it's because sometimes you can't hear me.
Well, I didn't even know I was rubbing the microphone. This is the first time I had a microphone on, right?
Second. Last time you ate the whole time, so we took it away from you.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember wearing it to begin with, but I don't remember shit anyway. So what the hell?
So tell us about the beard. Are you letting this grow out real long again?
Oh, yeah, Well, I'm thinking I am. Now, what I'll have to do is I'll have to trim it right here. It'll get in my mouth. But why do I want to pay $125 $1.25 for razor blades, and then them blades don't last that long. That's why I'm just letting the disgusting hair grow on my body. The hair on my shoulders is this long. The back, who cares? Whatever. It's like I'm in the twilight of life, and I don't give a shit. And then, but I will have to. That's like my hair when it would go down to my mouth, and then I get a haircut. I just take the scissors and cut it like that. So. I ain't got much hair anywhere. My 8 hair just like Donald Trump. But anyway, I need some questions, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have any? No
questions? Okay. Well, if let me see, shall I make about this, about that? Charles Atlas or Charles Alford, he says he needs a job too. Screaming Baboon says Vaughn has to shave and wax your entire back. Oh, I bet he'd love that.
No, I'm out for that. Greg Smith says, talent like Shelton, Serena, and some of the veterans history telling and flippy guys do more harm than good.
Well, I think they sort of allowed to do what they want to do there. So I don't know. I guess I'm there. And what's your job description? Well, just hang out, watch the thing. And if somebody asks a question and then you give them the best answer to your ability, if they want to do it, fine. And if not, I guess they do what they want to there anyway. So what the hell, right?
That's right. So today we got, let's see, we're going to give shout out to Shane Parks, Pot Ripper Jr., Screaming Baboon, John Tucker back in the house. Pot Ripper Jr., trifecta, actually 4 times Pot Ripper Jr.
Okay.
Or maybe
awesome.
Poe Tripper Jr., Screaming Baboon, Shane Parks, and Greg Smith. So thanks to all those guys out there. Thanks to everybody. It's Ian Green and a member of the show. And then don't forget next week, Rip. What is next week, Rip?
Oh, it's Rob Van Dam week. So remember, next Friday, that's right, next Friday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Van Dam will be on our show. He'll be on Ask Rip Rogers Live. So I'll be waiting for it. Vaughn Lilas will be waiting for it. All you people in podcast land will be waiting for you to see the great Rob Van Dam. Peace out. I don't know when this thing goes off. I don't know when it goes on. So I'll just sit here until Lila says, okay, you're off the